Hello, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you may be joining us for this recording. My name is April Carter. I am an excited team member here at Tennessee Nonprofit Network, and we are in for a treat. As you know, we have our Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit coming up in Chattanooga, April 18th. And we are joined by our keynote speaker, Amber Hamilton. Amber is a tried and true proven speaker, supporter of the Talent Summit. If you were in Memphis last year, you are in for a treat. So you know why we brought her back for our keynote session. We're going to learn a little bit more about Amber today, and she's going to give us a quick overview of why you should join us for the Talent Summit in Chattanooga. Amber, welcome.
Thank you for having me, April. I'm very excited about the upcoming summit.
Now, we know that you joined us last year for the Talent Summit in Memphis. Tell us a little bit about your experience then and your topic, talking about culture, change, and all of that good stuff within the nonprofit sector.
Yes, well, I was invited to do a session last year, and we had a rousing session talking about culture issues and kind of the things that, a lot of times in organizations, we almost try to ignore because we don't know exactly what to do with them or how to fix it or don't feel like we have enough time to dedicate to it. But we had a really good interactive discussion about that. And so now I'll be back to have a conversation with the bigger group about those types of issues. And well, of course, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to put a little humor in it. We're going to, laugh at our pain. But we are absolutely going to kind of problem solve and talk about some things that can help all of our organizations be in a better place with culture.
Now, you're well known within the Memphis community and other nonprofit sectors throughout, but there may be just a handful of people who don't know Amber Hamilton. So just quickly introduce yourself. Tell us about your role and what you do.
So, so I am the president and CEO of the Memphis Music Initiative. I've been in this role for several years. So we are both a direct service provider and a funder in the local community, uh, funding and supporting a whole ecosystem of Black and Brown creative youth development organizations. So that is my day job, but my background involves also executive coaching and did my graduate work in kind of leadership. So have a lot of thoughts and experience in terms of addressing HR issues, addressing culture issues. I used to be I'm a former recovering corporate HR person as well, so I know it from that side of the house. So yeah, I've done a lot of that work over time. I've learned a lot of things. I've gotten a lot of things wrong. I've done a lot of things wrong, and I am hoping to spare others similar pain. So happy to share what I know, but more importantly, invite a discussion amongst the folks that are there. Very much interactive. Please bring your problems, your challenges, the things that you are thinking about to that discussion so that we can really support each other in finding great ways to provide solutions to common culture challenges.
Now, being the president and CEO of Memphis Music Initiative and seeing some of the work you've produced, we know that if you are one thing for sure, you are very creative in how you present the information and bring the audience in. Now,
Mhm.
with that, I took one look at your session title, and the whole office was just aroused and just so ready and so excited. So tell us about the title of your session and what
Sure.
people can expect from your keynote address.
Sure. So the title of the session is either Recruit an Army of Cyborgs or Address Your Culture Issues. Because I sometimes joke with my staff, if I could replace you all with robots, I probably would. It's a little joke. I would never replace them. But, sometimes we get into a mode where we have so many things that we're trying to accomplish in terms of, the business side, the impact side of the work, that we kind of ignore the people side. But the people are what makes this thing go. And if we're not giving adequate time to really addressing it, or more commonly, if you have managers or people on staff who are not comfortable addressing culture problems, then those problems don't just go away. They pile up. And they're waiting for you, like an unopened visa bill. Like it's not gonna go away, baby. You got to either pay that thing some attention, and deal with it, or let the interest pile up. So we're going to talk about just some common things that people do, where they come when they come up against these culture issues and challenges, and how we might facilitate better attention, better problem solving, and more regular maintenance of culture issues.
I absolutely love that because we've said time and time again, when we talk about talent and culture, we're not talking about the ability to dance or sing or be creative. We're talking about the people that are showing up to do the work in your organization and the skill behind that. And then when we talk about the culture, it is the created environment that they have to do that work. And so I love how you say, unless you're going to get a bunch of robots, in which we don't want, and we don't
Oh,
have,
we
we may
know.
be using AI a little bit too much, but it can never
Right.
replace people. And it
Uh,
matters. That talent matters, and the environment that we are creating to do the work also matters. So I love that you're addressing both. So tell us a little bit about how this is impacting the nonprofit sector, especially here in Tennessee, and what they can expect in your session.
Sure. You know, what we're talking about brings to mind a quote from a former professor of mine. And he says all the time, leaders are always sending signals, right? 100 all the time. You're always sending signals, right? Whether you're being intentional about it or not, you're always sending signals. And so we are always sending signals to our coworkers and our colleagues about how we should behave around the culture we want, all of those things, but we're doing it either kind of thoughtfully and intentionally, or we're doing it, not so thoughtfully, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. So, I think in the nonprofit sector, we start from the premise that, people join the sector because they have a heart of service. They, really want great things to happen in the world. They want to be the change in the world. And those are all beautiful things. And most people who, become a part of our industry absolutely want those things. But it doesn't mean they don't have issues. It doesn't mean they don't have baggage. It doesn't mean that they don't have a backstory. It doesn't mean that we don't have things that we've learned at other workplaces that maybe we bring to this one that are not so great, or kind of habits that we picked up along the way, or critique. Doesn't mean that we don't bring any of those things. You can still have a great heart and have a lot of baggage. So, we just really have got to be intentional and thoughtful about the kind of culture we want to create in the organization. And then we have to put the people and the policies and the kind of mileposts in place to make sure that that's happening. And then we have to actually make sure that when we've gotten off track by whatever means, that we have things to kind of remind us of that and then pull us back where we want to go. Because if we don't do that, if we're not intentional about it, that's how you get to these toxic workplaces. When you hear these stories and things, sometimes you think, well, how did they allow that to happen? How did it get there? But I guarantee you, there were a series of kind of smaller actions, activities, behaviors, that went ignored, or some cases went rewarded, before they got to kind of the big explosions that sometimes you see. So I really want my nonprofit colleagues, my brethren and sistren, to be aware, to put it on, to not be afraid, because cultural issues can get messy. You're dealing with real human beings and they're a real mess. So I want them to feel empowered to jump in with both hands. I want them to feel okay if it's not perfect.